the first major hack of this new crypto bull cycle. For those of us who are seasoned veterans, this was an inevitability. Thankfully, in this case, it seems as though no user funds will be affected, or very little, and the exchange in question, KuCoin, will be able to replenish whatever is affected. This to me signifies a huge evolution of the space since, of course, the days of the infamous Mt. Gox hack, and to me, the reaction to this is extremely optimistic. But we have to deal with even more negative news and FUD today. HatchDAO did an exit scam and did a rug pull, removing their liquidity from Uniswap. The co-founder and CEO of TrustSwap, Jeff Kerdakis, immediately responded with a video. We're going to go through exactly what happened in both the KuCoin hack as well as the HatchDAO TrustSwap fiasco. If you guys are excited for this, do me a favor. You know the drill. Smash that like button. Today, we're taking the FUD head on. It's a throwback to the FUD TV days. Also, remember, we're giving away a Ledger Nano S, so if you guys want to win, definitely leave a comment below this video and you'll be entered to win. With that said, let's begin. Yesterday, we got news of the first major exchange hack of this new bull cycle, and these are never fun. But it looks as though no user funds will be affected, and to quote the man, CZ himself, funds are seifu. Obviously, CZ wasn't the originator of that quote. You OGs will know that's Bizanacci. However, it's important. This is a wake-up call to all of us that leaving your coins on centralized exchanges is simply more risky. However, to me, the reaction from KuCoin is extremely optimistic as we see that there's a coordination between major exchanges, entities like Tether, and a few other resources here in the community that I believe show a total evolution of the centralized exchange world. And essentially, this leads to more safety and security for users and funds, even in the event of a major hack like this. All right, so here we are on the official KuCoin Twitter, and yesterday they're saying they detected some large withdrawals. According to the latest initial security audit report, part of BTC, ERC20, and other tokens on KuCoin's hot wallets were transferred out of the exchange, which contained a few parts of our total asset holdings. We are locating the reason for the incident and will keep you updated once it is confirmed. Please rest assured that if any user funds are affected by this incident, it will be completely covered by KuCoin and our insurance fund. Again, these exchanges that have been in business for a while, like Binance, KuCoin, obviously Coinbase, the majors, tend to have a tremendous amount of what they call insurance funds because they can't actually get insurance. They have to create their own pools of money as insurance funds. Hopefully that is part of the evolution that we see in the next few years. They also say to ensure the security of users' assets, we will conduct a thorough security review. The deposit and withdrawal service will be suspended during the period. We will restore the service gradually after ensuring a safe state. We will keep you updated. So in response, CZ actually chimed in here before we go to Johnny Lou's updates, and he said, as always, Binance has been actively helping other exchanges that got hacked. The sooner we get notified, the more we can help. We will work together to make the industry safer. Sorry. I know a lot of people hate CZ and think he's like the devil that's bringing centralization to crypto, but I personally respect this man so deeply. I think he is the example of what an amazing CEO is in this industry, and compared to all the rug-pulling anon trash tokens that you've seen over the last 60 days, CZ comes off just like an angel, and what he did for BNB holders. You can make the argument that he's pushing centralization. You can make a lot of different arguments, but I'm a big fan. Anyway, let's get back to the topic. So Johnny Lou says, thanks for the quick action. Let's work together to make the industry safer. We also have Paolo Adriano, who, of course, if we click into his bio, we can see that he's the CTO of Bitfinex as well as Tether. He created Tether and Bitfinex. It's okay, just sitting on however many billions. He said, PSA, KuCoin hack. Bitfinex froze 13 million Tether USDT on EOS as part of the hack. Tether just froze 20 million Tether USDT sitting on this Ethereum address as a precautionary measure. So the hacker unfortunately didn't realize that USDT is not a decentralized ecosystem here and that it can be frozen. Johnny says, thanks a bunch. We've been receiving more and more good news and support from our partners in the crypto space. Together, stronger. And then we also had Acropolis chime in and say, hey, we've actually paused all transfers of Acro for now until they get things sorted out. And so you can't trade on DEXs because this is an actual on-chain transfer, but you can trade on CEXs, centralized exchanges, because those are off-chain. And then so Johnny actually hosted a live stream here. We're not going to go to the live stream, but we can see here that BitBNS, which is an Indian exchange, also said that they blacklisted the addresses and are working with them in any way to help as much as they can. Johnny says thank you. Another 1 million USDT frozen here. Tether2 just also froze 1 million USDT on Omni as part of the KuCoin hack. And so you can see they've frozen on EOS. I think Palo Arduino is by far the MVP of the story so far. And then we also have another 1 million TRC20 USDT is safe now. So now we have everybody, the gang's all here. The Tron USDT, the Omni USDT, the Tether USDT. I guess Binance, we haven't seen Binance USDT. We'll see if they have any. So it seems as though right now, if I were to summarize this, it's that, yeah, they got hacked bad. It's really sad because I think of KuCoin as honestly one of my favorite places to trade altcoins. Back in 2017 as well as this year, they've been ahead of the curve getting the coins that you really want to be trading, most of all, the ones that have tremendous upside, tokens that are not that easy to find. But it seems as though they're recovering from this hack and hopefully they can recover stronger. Regardless, this is a huge wake-up call that centralized exchanges do have flaws and that you should be at all times, if you're just going to sit and hodl coins, you should be sitting with them in your wallet. Use a MetaMask even, but don't leave them on your centralized exchanges. I think I have maximum $1,000 or $2,000 on any exchange at any time. If I have more than that, I'm always trying to offload it back to my wallets as fast as possible. And so this is a big wake-up call, and I think a phenomenal message just to take your coins off the exchange, guys. Even though I do believe this is optimistic to see the collaboration between Binance, KuCoin, you're seeing Acropolis, you're seeing Tether get in the mix. Obviously, the next hacker's not going to be stupid enough to steal Tether. They'll probably steal Bitcoin like a sane person would. However, regardless, what we see here is, I think, a phenomenal recovery from an event that could have been very, very sad, at least for individual users. Clearly, the charts don't care because the price seemed almost completely unaffected. But regardless, this is good news to me. I think the recovery from this is a great thing. However, the message is clear that you should not be leaving your coins on the exchange. Now we move on to a much more tricky topic, much more tricky than talking about a hack that doesn't affect anyone. And that is, of course, the incident with HatchDAO that used TrustSwap's team lock contracts. Now, I want to be very clear about what happened here because this has really erupted, and I want to be as factual and non-emotional as possible as I analyze this. And then at the end, I'm going to give you my own personal take, but I've actually re-recorded this about 3 times because you know me, I tend to rant, and I want this to be as targeted as it possibly can. So first, let's get this out of the way. There is a project called HatchDAO that used TrustSwap's team lock contracts where they locked tokens that the team would not have access to their own team tokens. But they put up a Uniswap liquidity pool regardless of this and essentially pulled the liquidity from Uniswap in what's called a rug pull. Now, people are upset at TrustSwap because essentially TrustSwap tweeted this out saying, "Congrats to HatchDAO for giving the community the peace of mind that their team tokens are now locked and vested using TrustSwap's fully audited smart lock technology." They have a little image there of TrustSwap and HatchDAO. Now, this is where the trouble comes in because this is a statement from TrustSwap. Now, to be clear, the team lock contract works exactly as designed and continues to work. And so this isn't an issue with the contract that TrustSwap deployed. I want to be very clear about what did and didn't happen here. And Jeff, the founder, says, just like locking your door doesn't guarantee the safety of your home, TrustSwap's team token lock does not guarantee liquidity won't be pulled. TrustSwap has many different products, and this particular product that they use, the team lock, does not in any way prevent people from pulling liquidity on Uniswap. Very important that those things are established for us to get to the bottom of really what happened. And so as Box Mining points out here, this is where crypto complexity shows its ugly head. TrustSwap functioned to lock team funds. However, HatchDAO scammers exited by pulling liquidity. And beyond that, there are even more ways for devs to dump. This is all true, and it's important if you're playing around in these ecosystems that you understand that there are a significant amount of what they call attack vectors or risks. Just think of them as risks. However, people are saying, so TrustSwap is redundant then and was essentially used to garner a false sense of trust in the project. Yeah, it warned Mufasa of Simba's dilemma, but it couldn't predict or stop Scar's betrayal. In the end, Mufasa died anyway. This is essentially their way of saying that, yes, while TrustSwap's contracts worked as was intended, this doesn't actually build trust. And that's the dilemma here. And I do feel for Jeff. I feel for the TrustSwap team, as this is kind of complex because they have a product working as designed. But the reality is that their branding and that their messaging about what their technology serves to accomplish is what people feel here is that that's misleading. And then they're saying if Disney metaphors weren't enough, one user commented, running a scam is such hard work these days. Between running a Telegram, creating a light paper, making a website, let TrustSwap make your scamming job easier by providing a false sense of security to your users' needs for you to scam them properly. And so TrustSwap did not take this laying down. In fact, Jeff made this response video, which we're going to play, as well as a second response video, which we're also going to play, and we'll go ahead and show those now.
To validate these projects. People are saying, well, TrustSwap should audit these projects too. Guys, we're not, our number one goal is not to be a project that, puts the stamp of approval on other projects, because that is tangibly impossible, because there's so many factors to take into account. Like I mentioned before, even the team could be bad and not be able to execute on things. So it's impossible for us to put a seal of approval on different projects. What we are is a DeFi ecosystem that builds out software services for anybody in the world to use, just like anyone can use Ethereum, right? Anybody can sign up for it. They don't need to contact us. We do crypto subscriptions. We do token locks. We do escrow services. We have our launchpad. We do token wrapping as a service. We do event-based payments. We do a ton. And Team Token Locks is just one of those things. And as you guys now know, Team Token Locks does not guarantee that there are not other paths of vulnerability. So understand that just because somebody locks Team tokens does not mean that the investment is 100% safe. All right, 2 minutes, 20 seconds, that's the limit for Twitter, so I'll end it there. See you guys. So essentially, we provide a few software services. One of them is Team Token Locks, which is what HatchDAO used. Now, of course, as anybody knows, Team Token Locks don't prevent a scam from happening. There's lots of different ways that a project can scam. You can do liquidity rug pulls, like which they just did. You can mint new tokens. You can have investors dump on you. The team can just be incompetent. The code can be wrong. Or you can switch the contract as well. So what I'm saying is that TrustSwap isn't really concerned with the last 5 that I just mentioned. What we're focusing on is Team Token Locks as a software service. Are we saying that this is a end-all be-all to stop scams in crypto forever? Definitely not. What we're saying is that Team Token Locks are one piece of the puzzle. It's like locking your front door and locking your back door. Now, someone could still go through the window. Someone could still do some funny thing. But it's part of a larger solution, but it doesn't guarantee the safety of your home by locking your doors, just like Team Token Locks doesn't guarantee anything. So there's a lot of stuff that TrustSwap is doing outside of Team Token Locks. We have our escrow services, we have the launchpad, you got the wrapping as a service, you got event-based payments, you got investor token locks, you got smart swaps. There's a lot of stuff we're doing, and Team Token Locks is just one software we use. Just like Ethereum doesn't vet ERC20 tokens that launch on ETH, we don't vet tokens that use our open, non-custodial contracts. It's the exact same. We don't invite people on, they just use it. And then when people use it, it's exciting that people are starting to use our platform and project, so we just announce it. Do we vet them? No, because it's just open software and people are using it. We're going to discuss internally about our strategy about, okay, who are we announcing and what are we announcing? I think we do need to rephrase that and reframe it. But overall, yeah, anyone can use Team Token Locks. We're not going to stop that, just like anyone can mint on Ethereum. And yeah, hope that clears it up, opens to any questions. Limit on Twitter is 220. This is now 210, so I'll wrap it up. But yeah, cheers, guys. Hope that makes sense.
I actually also wanted to get a pulse from my own community to see what they felt about this. And I didn't even realize I actually misspelled this, but I said, why do you guys think of the TrustSwap incident? Come on, autocorrect. But it was, what do you guys think of the TrustSwap incident? And I did see it as a TrustSwap incident, but apparently this is even controversial. So we saw a bunch of different responses all over here, and we see TrustSwap pretty often here firing back. One of the responses here was, I'm going to just leave this right here. And it's a screenshot of Jeff saying by the end of August, the days of getting rugged, which is essentially what happened, will be over. And this is where things get a little sticky. Because TrustSwap's first response to my comment here, and obviously I didn't take a stance, I was just asking a question. What do you guys think of this incident? In reality, the quote incident is not related to TrustSwap. They used our token lock software. It worked exactly as intended. What happened is they pulled liquidity, a service not provided. The locksmith is not responsible if someone breaks through the window. So they're saying that this one product they used was not related to the scam, and they're totally right about that. But where this gets a little sticky for me is that Jeff and the TrustSwap brand essentially have been going around trying to make the case that their technology is going to fight against, scams. And they've even mentioned rugs in the past. As you can see, this Jeff Kerdakis tweet says, by the end of August, the days of getting rugged will be over. And Jeff actually responded to this and said, not all the software planned for secure launches has been released yet. We shifted our development priorities along the way as any agile company would. Now, I agree. It's totally fine to shift priorities and to do those for the betterment of the project as a whole. However, I do think that that shift and the communication of the vulnerabilities of that shift is important to communicate. That said, I did get a variety of responses here. Some people say, this really was false advertising. Some people saying major fail. Some people saying every alt has issues. Some people saying high risk operation seems well intentioned. And some people saying that this was inevitable and going to happen and impossible to stop. Some people saying if this was the only service provided by TrustSwap, then it would be game over. However, lucky for loyal investors, they offer more, ironing out some wrinkles, all part of the process. Some people saying TrustSwap idea doesn't make sense if the project that launches on their platform still have control of tokenomics. The investors are led to believe that they'll be safe from being rugged. TrustSwap is not delivering what their platform is supposed to. Very disappointed. Some people unaware. Some people saying still hodl 100%. Scammers have multiple avenues of exit scamming, and TrustSwap only solves a portion of that. The idea has a chance to attract scammers in order to bring in trust and credibility from TrustSwap's name just to scam people. So with that said, I'm going to give you my opinion, which is, one, TrustSwap's product does exactly what it's intended to do. However, the reality is that Jeff and the TrustSwap team have done a very good job of marketing their product and projecting the idea that their goal is really to stop scams from these token launches. And as they said on the Twitter feed, not all their products are fully functional and released yet. So in the future, there might be a suite of products that do protect against rug pulls as well as team token locks. To use their own metaphor, locking the front door as well as the window, as well as the back door, as well as setting the alarm, and all those things together can make your home a lot more secure. However, I will say that Jeff's response videos, I felt, were a little bit hastily thrown together, and that there should have been, I think, a little more perspective instead of kind of like laughing it off and saying this has nothing to do with us, we're completely hands are clean, nothing to do with us, saying, hey, we're going to do better to vet things in the future. We've identified some flaws in the process, something that could have been a learning experience for the project. I don't want to throw TrustSwap under the bus with this because obviously this wasn't them. They didn't scam people, but it does feel like this is essentially the product of them trying to move too fast and do too much too soon. And that is part of the problem with the crypto ecosystem as a whole, right? These projects, you want to make as much news as possible. You want to have as many partnerships as possible. You want to have as many deliveries as possible. And the need to constantly deliver and just smash out those updates really pushes projects to do things without being 100% fully vetted. And this is essentially what happened with TrustSwap. But I do find it a little troubling because for me, one of the things I was really looking forward to with TrustSwap was the Launchpad. I think the Launchpad is the multi-billion-dollar idea. That's what I believe personally is the big value add, is that Launchpad. These escrow contracts and these like team locking contracts, there's a lot of ways to lock funds, freeze funds, and do that. And I believe that there will be many, many competitors for that. But the idea of a branded Launchpad that people were like, hey, those projects coming through that Launchpad, those are the top quality projects. That's what I think of as the multi-billion-dollar idea. And this incident to me, and really the reaction from Jeff and TrustSwap, I feel like it lacked a little bit of perspective that whether or not you're right, these products are actually serving the purpose they're intended intended to, it needed to be communicated pretty clearly that these products don't prevent scams and frauds. They don't. In fact, they don't even kind of prevent them. They leave you wide open. And does that mean that this project's over? No, of course not. Nothing ever dies in crypto, in my personal opinion. I think that any project can continue to rise above FUD or negative things. And it really is unfortunate because this anonymous team ended up really damaging TrustSwap's credibility, and Jeff has a right to be triggered in that sense. But I do think that the approach that this had nothing to do with TrustSwap, I don't think that that's the right response. I think that the right response would have been, hey, we should have done better to vet this. Hey, we should have done better to look into this project, to at least know who the team was before tweeting about them. And even a tweet, maybe that shouldn't be seen as an endorsement, but in the reality in 2020, tweets of projects are seen as endorsements. And I think that the comparison to Ethereum, saying you do the exact same thing as Ethereum, well, Ethereum doesn't tweet about ERC20s that are freshly minted. And so I think that's where the difference is. It's that the vocal sort of promotion and co-promotion and constantly chasing those news updates. I think TrustSwap has been really aggressive in pushing what they're claiming they're doing, pushing what they want their news updates to contain. And I'm not here to put them in a box and say you should only do this or you should only do that. If Jeff and the gang want to go after that, then bless them. And I wish them the most success. But if you haven't finished the real original product suite that you're really claiming is the value of your project and essentially delivering the products that would allow for people to actually have peace of mind during a token launch process. Because if you have that half done, if you've built an iron vault on the front door and the window, but you literally haven't even built a back wall for your house, then it's kind of like, what's the point of these two products if they don't actually create any kind of security? So while I agree with Jeff and I agree with TrustSwap that their products are doing what they're designed to do, and I also agree that this wasn't having to do with any decisions made by TrustSwap, I also think the pace at which they're pushing the project, the marketing messages, and the desire to ship and actually have projects using and launching on them before their product suite is ready to actually prevent fraud, I think that that really calls into question the branding and the desire to move too far too fast. And if they're not able to vet things, it also calls into question to me the potential for the launchpad, which is what I'm most excited about. Their announcements around futures dexes and stuff like that, I'm bullish on futures and derivatives. You guys know me, but that's a cutthroat ecosystem. And if that's what you want to do, I believe you should be focusing 100% on that. So to me, this is kind of the peanut butter paradigm where TrustSwap has been spread a little bit too thin. They're trying to essentially make everybody think that they're going to do everything. Now, in the future, I'm sure that TrustSwap will be vetting projects and being very careful about who they tweet about. I certainly hope so. And my sincere hope is that out of this is something very positive for the TrustSwap project, that in the end that they're going to learn and grow from this. And I'm still optimistic that the TrustSwap project could make our decentralized token ecosystem stronger, better, and more trustworthy. And that's what I'll leave you with, is that there's always the hope that these projects and what they're trying to accomplish will deliver some tremendous good to our ecosystem. I'm curious what you guys think. There's a lot on all sides of this. I think that calling it a non-event for TrustSwap or saying it has nothing to do with TrustSwap, I don't think that's fair. Saying that it's all on TrustSwap, I don't think that that's fair. I think that there's a lot of shades of gray here, and that in the end, this sort of feverish pace of marketing in crypto has really pushed a project like TrustSwap and Jeff to kind of be out there in the vulnerable zone and be working with projects that they don't have the ability or time to vet. And so that's just something to keep in mind. I feel like I've ranted enough. I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed, hit that sub button and click that little bell notification. We're doing videos each and every day covering the most impactful and important news in the entire space, as well as undervalued technologies here in crypto land. You're definitely going to want to be tuned in for the next broadcast. As usual, my name's Elio Trades. If you want to follow me and connect with me personally, be a part of these crazy tweet storms here, then follow me on Twitter at Elio Trades or join my Telegram group, t.me/ElioTradesCrypto. The links for both of those are in the description. As always, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon on the next episode.